Hi guys, you now have your 3-year vision, that guiding light, who you are, who you could be without limitation, who you are when you're your very best self. If we can maximize the amount of time you spend as your best self, in my language, that's time when you're in free nature. If you can maximize that, then you're already living your vision for 3 years' time right now. And the more you can embody that vision now, the greater the likelihood that you'll be who you want to be in 3 years' time. So you have that 3-year vision. You have worked back from that and you've established where you need to be in 2 years, or rather who you could be in 2 years that adds up to that 3-year destination. You've come back closer to now, and you've done that for 1 year. And now we're going to be a little less visionary with it, if you like, in that we're going to rationalize it a little bit more. This is going to be slightly less emotive because we're thinking about goal setting today. We need that emotional connection, that deep pull, that visceral connection to your vision that your subconscious brain can hook onto, that you can be pulled towards. But in the shorter term, we need to translate that emotional connection to the kind of big picture, to the dream scenario, to who you could be without limitation. And we've got to translate that into attainable steps that make sense, that if you were to achieve them, would take you to that vision. So that's why today we're talking about goal setting. You'll be aware of what SMART goals are. We're going to base what we're doing today around SMART goals, but I'm adding an extra I on the end. So our goals are going to be SMARTY, not just smart, but SMARTY. And that I stands for intention, but we're going to get around to that. So we're thinking about starting from your 1-year vision and coming back to create SMART goals, or SMARTY goals rather, for 9 months from now, 6 months from now, and 3 months from now. Obviously, as you work through that year, the 6-month goals and the 9-month goals are going to evolve depending on how you get on over the next 3 months. You could exceed expectations in some areas, and you might have to reassess and recalibrate in others. So this is a movable feast. You're not setting goals now and working towards them unchangedly for the next 9 months. Just as your vision is a movable feast in terms of the what and the how, but the who and the feelings that are associated with it are universal. You might just find a different route to get there, and it might look slightly different to the way you imagined it looked now in terms of the detail, but the feeling it's going to deliver you is what you've been driving at in your visions. Anyway, back to SMARTY goals. So 9, 6, 3 months from now. So the task is to set yourself some goals. I suggest no more than 3 to 5 goals for each of those periods. Probably a greater number of goals up front. So even more detail for the first 3 months, and then it becomes slightly more generic the further away you get, because as I said, the things are going to evolve, things are going to change and grow, you're going to have to recalibrate. Okay, so let's go for round numbers. Let's talk about setting 3 goals for 9 months' time. And let's pull that back to 4 or 5 goals for 6 months' time. And let's think about 6, maximum 8 goals over the next 3 months. Some of which are going to converge to deliver you to the 6-month goal. And some of those 6-month goals will again compress and converge to get you to the 9-month goal. They're going to stack, and they're going to have a positive amplifying effect over time. So we're going to start with more, and we're going to funnel down to fewer. Right, SMARTY, reminder, SMART goals are specific. So we're looking for you to be as specific as possible here. Specific doesn't have to be complicated. I want you to keep it simple, right? Distill it down to the simplest possible unit, because this needs to be repeatable on a daily or weekly basis. It has to be repeatable, and for it to be repeatable, it's got to be simple. So we're thinking minimal effective dose. What does that mean? It means the least you need to do to make progress. That's the goal, and no more. Any less than that, you're not making progress. Any more than that, we risk overwhelm, especially when we've got several goals running concurrently. So minimum effective dose, be specific, yes, but keep it simple. That's S. Measurable. Where's the positive proof? If we can't measure it, we can't determine whether you've been successful in achieving that goal or whether you're making progress towards achieving that goal. So again, boil it down, make it simple. What's the minimum effective dose? So what does 1% improvement or progress look like in this area? Well, you can only know that if it's measurable. So that's M. A, attainable. Is it achievable within the time frame? Which also brings us on to T, which is time-based. Now, inherently, everything we're doing here is time-based, because we're structuring it on a 9, 6, 3 month from now basis. So you've got time-based ticked already before you start, but think about how ambitious you're being within those timeframes. And are the priorities right? Have you got a 9-month goal which actually needs some prior action 3 months from now or 6 months from now in order for it to be achieved? And likewise, are you setting yourself a 3-month goal that's actually something that is achievable, yes, but is achievable in a 6 to 9 month time frame, but isn't realistic in 3 months? So think about correctly prioritizing your time frames and making sure they're attainable within those time frames, right? So I missed out R in the middle between the A and the T there. Relevant. Now, there is no point pursuing a goal that is irrelevant to your long-term vision. And what's more, there's no point pursuing a goal that is opposite to or anathema to your values, because you're going to either put a lot of effort into achieving something that doesn't contribute to the realization of your vision, or you're going to avoid working on that goal altogether because it doesn't align with your values. So think about that. Is the goal relevant? Now, if you come up with something that doesn't feel relevant, you either discard it because it doesn't add up to the vision, or have you missed something in terms of your vision that you set last week and the week before, 3, 2, and a year from now, that should have been in there? If so, go back and revisit that vision work. Okay, and finally, I. So we all know of SMART goals. I said I was going to talk to you about SMARTY goals today, and the I on the end of SMART is intentional. So yes, we want them to be specific, crucially as simple as they possibly can be. We want them to be measurable, and we want the unit of progress to be simple and repetitive. We want them to be attainable in the specific time frame, whether it's 3, 6, or 9 months, and we need them to be relevant to your vision. But we also need to be able to translate them into intention, preferably something that you can do on a daily basis, but it might also be a weekly intention, but we're going to focus on daily intention. So if we could reduce your goals down to a straightforward structure that you got up, that you woke up with in the morning, that you reminded yourself of through your journaling first thing, and that you then work towards, you'll be making intentional or taking intentional action throughout the day to move the needle for yourself, to push things forward, to pursue that incremental progress towards your goals. So can these goals be reduced to simple daily acts that you can pursue with intention. You can wake up, you can remind yourself of where you're going in terms of vision and the intermediate goal. You can remind yourself of the simple daily intention that gets you to that goal, and you can execute it. And then you can build that burden of positive proof in the evening, say, well done, I executed my intention towards this goal today. And start to rewire your brain in favor of that behavior, in favor of achieving that goal, and ultimately in favor of realizing the vision that you have for yourself. So let's get setting those SMARTY goals 9, 6, 3 months from now. Let me know how you get on.